Katherine argued in her appeal that the music rights sale violated the terms of Jackson's will and established probate law. She said, Jackson told family members before his death that the assets should never be sold. She also claimed that her son intended to give the entire estate to the trust. According to Katherine, his music catalog, not proceeds from selling his music catalog, or partial management rights over that catalog, should pass to the trust. In rejecting her arguments, the appeals court determined that Jackson's will gives the executors broad powers to buy and sell estate assets in the estate's best interests, and that all of the estate's assets will be distributed to the trust. Katherine argued that these provisions are inconsistent and that the probate court's order violates the second provision because it allows estate assets to be transferred to a joint venture, i.e., Sony, instead of to the trust. The appeals court disagreed, opining, "We conclude that the provisions are not inconsistent. Read together. They give the executors broad powers to manage estate property while the estate remains in probate, and they provide for the transfer of all estate property to the trust. When the probate action is concluded, the proposed transaction is consistent with the terms of Michael's will as so interpreted, and thus the probate court did not abuse its discretion by granting the executors' petition." Katherine could still appeal the ruling to the California Supreme Court, but based on the interpretation of the lower court, her chances of a successful overturn are low. Understanding music business and administration of estate planning lessons from the estate of Michael Jackson. Michael died testate on June 25, 2009. The appeals court notes in its background to the case, testate means that Michael died with a will. He therefore avoided dying intestate, or without a will, something that has plagued the estates of musical superstars like Prince, Tupac Shakur, and Marvin Gaye. Dying intestate can lead to protracted estate litigation between heirs and other interested parties, especially when the estate belongs to a celebrity worth many millions of dollars. We see this with Prince's estate, which is still being litigated more than 8 years after his passing. A formal written will takes precedence over oral statements made to friends and family members. It could be the case that Jackson communicated to his mother, as she claims, that the music catalog should never be sold, but goals and wishes casually discussed with friends and family are not legally enforceable unless they have been put in a valid, legally enforceable document. Jackson not only left behind a valid will but also created a revocable trust during his lifetime to benefit his children and mother. He additionally had the foresight to place terms on the trust to ensure that his children would be mature enough to receive their large inheritances, stimulating specific disbursements to them at ages 30, 35, and 40. Jackson also avoided another mistake in his estate plan by giving broad powers to the executors. Estate planning attorneys typically advise clients to give executors broad powers to buy and sell estate property during probate so they do not have to spend time and money seeking court approval for routine transactions. Jackson's will is crystal clear on this point. Article 5 of his will provides, "I hereby give to my executors full power and authority at any time or times to sell, lease, mortgage, pledge, exchange, or otherwise dispose of the property, whether real or personal, comprising my estate, upon such terms as my executors shall deem best." This type of provision lets executors sell assets in response to changing circumstances that the original owner might not have been able to predict when they created their estate plan. For example, Jackson's estate filed a brief with the appellate court claiming they negotiated the Sony deal to take advantage of an asset market that was by far the hottest it had ever been. On the surface, it looks as though Michael made all the right estate planning moves. He created a will and a trust and gave his executors the authority to maximize his estate's assets for the benefit of his heirs. But he made one potential mistake. Not every one of his assets were transferred into the trust during his lifetime. In a process known as trust funding is crucial to ensure that one's assets are administered privately under the terms of the trust rather than in the public eye of a probate court. It is also essential for artists and creatives to understand the music business and administration of trust and estate in the case of death. This helps them make more informed decisions regarding their intellectual property. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more